Sleep in Heavenly Peace, the Harford County chapter, is a nonprofit organization that both makes and donates beds to children who don't have a bed. Their motto is, "No child sleeps on the floor in this town." Join us in the next 30 minutes as we hear from the president, the donors, the volunteers, and all about how they make this dream a reality with no child left behind. I'm Christy Breslin, and this is Harford MagaScene. Karen Dubois is the president of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, the Harford County chapter. This is such a wonderful organization that gives back to so many people in need. And Karen is here to tell us all about it and their humble beginnings. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Christy.
Now, Karen, tell me, what is Sleep in Heavenly Peace?
Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a nonprofit here in Harford County. We actually build beds for kids that don't have any. Lots of kids are on the floor sleeping on pallets, blankets, you name it, we've seen it.
So why did you decide to build this organization? I know this was started by you.
Well, I decided this in Harford County, really, I needed to fill a void in my life, fill my heart, jumpstart my heart, whatever you want to call it, and always wanted a way to give back to like single moms, and because I was a single mom at one time, so I understand the struggles, and didn't realize at the time when I started this what a need it really was. I mean, we overlook a bed, a place of your own, a good night's sleep, and I took off with it and really realized then how much it's really needed here in Harford County.
I know that you've helped a lot of families in Harford County because there's so many in need. How many families would you say you've helped, and do you have any idea maybe how many beds you've built?
Well, we've done 385 beds to date.
Wow.
So yeah, we've helped that many children.
Now, what if someone thinks, oh, this would be a good fit for me, this would be a good fit for my friend? What do they do to acquire your services?
We have a website called shpbeds.org where you can request a bed, or someone can request a bed for a family they know that's in need. And it will come on an app on my phone, and I will go through it and pick the families that most need the beds.
So there's really no requirements that need to be met?
Well, you got to be in need. We're not looking to replace beds. These are actually families that really haven't had beds, or the kids really need to get up off the floor.
Right.
So there's a little bit of a requirement.
We know that building beds, that cannot be cheap. So how do you raise the money to keep this organization going?
Well, with the help of the community, businesses, local people donating, volunteers helping me, that's pretty much it. I mean, the community has been great.
Well, I mean, what better cause? And when I was looking at the beds, one of my questions was, do you provide the quilts? I mean, they're beautiful.
Well, then again, that's from the community. So we have quilters locally, some out of the county too, that just make these quilts. These were just made from a lady local, and I love the quilts because they give a special sentiment to the beds, everything being new, never used. So our beds are complete with brand new mattresses, brand new sheets, pillows, and the blankets.
Now, Karen, what about the tools? Did you have to get donations for them? I mean, how did you acquire everything?
Well, when I started this, I had no tools.
Oh, no.
Decided to write to DeWalt and tell them what I was doing. And all of a sudden, I started getting yellow boxes showing up at the house. So they supplied me with all the tools, the drills, the saws, the sanders. They went over and above to get me started.
Wow. So I know that there's quite a few things that are donated, but is there anybody else special out there that you really want to thank for making this dream a reality?
I wouldn't say any one person. I'd say every single person who has donated. There are so many that I can't even begin to tell you how many. in the community has come forward. Businesses, private people, my volunteers we even had young kids for their birthdays do little fundraising. A little girl had like 30 pillows she came up with for her birthday presents and gave them to us for donations. So we have kids doing this too, donating blankets, doing for birthday parties, anything. There's so many people to thank for doing this and helping me. I wouldn't be able to do this without them.
Now, Karen, what about this barn? This is beautiful, and I guess this is where you do all the building. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. Mr. St. Clair and the St. Clair family own this barn, and ever since day one, I found him by accident and had asked him about his barn, and he said, anytime you need it, you can do your build. So this is where all of our builds, I'd say 99.9, have been built here in this barn. He's been really good in the whole St. Clair family, so I thank them very much.
Karen, you said to me the phrase, Christy, I've had so many magical moments. What did you mean by that?
Yes, SHP, every delivery, there's always one magical moment. I'll give you, for instance, when I always say one door doesn't open, another one does. So when I contact these families, they know that I'm coming, but for some reason, I don't know why, sometimes they don't answer the door. And this one particular time, we were knocking on the door, and no one was answering. I was calling, nobody would answer the phone. And then this little boy, 2 doors down, comes running out of this house into one of the volunteers' hands, and they took him back in, and that was Andrew, and he came back and said, Karen, you might want to come over here and talk to her. So I walked in this woman's house, told her who I was, Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and what we do. And I said to her, do you need beds? And she was like, what? And I said, do you need beds? And she started crying. And I said, show me where your kids are sleeping. So we went upstairs. Now, she had 2 brand new baby infants, and then she had a 4-year-old and a 14-year-old. When I went up in the bedroom, they were sleeping on 4 piled high baby mattresses. That's where they were sleeping. So when I told her I had a whole complete bunk bed, she cried, and we surprised her. Like I said, there's many more magical moments, and another one that really sticks with me is one in particular. A lot of these families are grandmothers taking care of grandkids and trying to get custody, and they need beds to get these kids out of custody. So this one grandmother was wheelchair bound, and she had found out about us. Someone had told her about us, and I came over to do a bed, one single bed, because we don't always do bunk beds. We give a single bed if you only need one bed. So after I completed the bed with a handmade quilt, I asked her to come look at the bed. So she came with her wheelchair around the corner and looked at it and started crying. And she said, you have no idea what you did. Now, we do ages from 5 to 16, okay? So this boy was 16. And she said to me, I've been trying to get custody. And she goes, you don't realize what you have done. He's been feeling homelessness because he goes back and forth to families and he doesn't have his space. And she said, you gave him his own space. So that was a day I cried my eyes out because it hit home, because I realized how much a bed really means to a kid. We've got kids that would tell me, well, this is where I'm doing my homework now, this is where I'm doing my reading, this is going to write my journal, I'm going to play my games. A bed means so much more that we all take for granted, and I learn this every time we do deliveries, just how much they mean.
And for anybody that wants to learn more, maybe they want to come out, maybe they want to build a bed, maybe they want to volunteer. How do we get in touch?
They can go to shpbeds.org, and also I have a Facebook page directly, which is Sleep in Heavenly Peace, Harford County.
Karen, thank you so much. Thank you for all you do, and we're so lucky to have you here in Harford County.
Thank you for having me.
Well, as you have heard from Karen, what a giving community that we live in. So many people volunteer and donate. You could be one of those people, but we're going to hear so much more. We're going to hear from people that are recipients of the beds, sponsors, volunteers, and why this organization has become the success that it has. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm County Executive Barry Glassman. It's great to be back at Harford County's 4-H shows and other summer events. But when activities move indoors this fall, COVID is more likely to spread. If you're not sure about getting the vaccine, talk to your doctor and remember, it's free, it's easy, and it's ready when you are.
Janaea Thames is from Harford Mutual Insurance Group. She is the general counsel. She is also a very strong supporter of Sleep in Heavenly Peace. She came recently and did a sponsor build here, and she's here to tell us all about the experience and why they continue to give. Hi, Janaea.
Hi, Christy.
Tell us about Harford Mutual Insurance Group. I've known about you for a long time, but specifically, who are you and what do you do?
Well, Harford Mutual Insurance Group is a property and casualty commercial insurance company. We've been around. We're principally located in Bel Air. We've been here since 1842.
Wow.
For 179 years.
Woo! Now, I know you're very active in Harford County. Sleep in Heavenly Peace, why did you decide to support this specific charity?
Well, Sleep in Heavenly Peace has a mission that's very similar to all of the organizations that we support. It's important to Harford Mutual to support the organizations in the community in which we live, which is here. One of our main core initiatives when we offer our support is those organizations dedicated to poverty alleviation and health and human services. So their mission, no kid sleeps on the floor in our town, aligns with our mission.
I know you're very busy over there, and one thing that I've heard about is the private employee company builds. What is that?
Well, what it meant for us was we brought probably close to 20, 25 of our employees here, pre-COVID, of course, and we brought them here and we all helped physically build the beds for the children that get to benefit from the mission and purpose of Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
What's it like to work with the staff and the volunteers?
Oh, they've been fantastic, wonderful. They're, first of all, very knowledgeable. Second of all, they're serious and passionate about what they do and their mission. It was clean, it was organized, it was a great experience, and we hope that we can do future builds with Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
Now, can you kind of give me an idea of what it's like? Just run me through what it's like to come in, start volunteering, and to build a bed. I mean, obviously, it must take some time.
It does take some time. I think it took about maybe 2 to 3 hours. We came in the morning. We got very good instructions. There were stations set up for each part of the bed building process. You got to pick where you want it to be. You got to do each part of the bed building process if you wanted to. And then you got to even brand the bed with the Sleep in Heavenly Peace logo. That was probably my favorite part. And then we got to take a picture. And after it's all said and done, you could even sign up to help deliver the beds to those recipients of the beds that we built.
Now, what would you say is the best part about being involved? Is it making the beds? Is it delivering the beds?
For me, I guess it would be delivering the bed. Seeing that young person or that young child happy because they're finally got a bed all to themselves. You can't make up memories like that. That is a feeling that really does affect you right here, and it was a great experience.
Would you come back and do it again? And would you recommend it to other people? Do you think it would be a fun opportunity? And of course, a great way to give back.
I would absolutely do it again. I hope to be able to be given the opportunity to do it again. And I would encourage anyone who is dedicated to service, who is dedicated to the mission of Sleep in Heavenly Peace, to join a bed build and to participate.
Janaea, thank you so much. I mean, it really does sound like a great experience, and you're living proof.
Best experience ever. Thanks so much for having us.
Oh, great to have you. Thanks for being here. And coming up next, we're going to talk to another supporter that continues to dedicate their time. Danny Mcgee is the president of Agape Projects. He is here to talk to us about his involvement with Sleep in Heavenly Peace. I'm sure you know Danny. He is someone that is very familiar to us in Harford County. He was recently, just last year, he won Harford's Most Beautiful Shining Light Award. So we are very happy to have him with us and have him on our side. Hi, Danny.
Hello, how you doing, Christy?
Danny, always good to see you. You're always out and about in Harford County. Now, one thing I do want to ask you about, you are a sponsor for Sleep in Heavenly Peace, but you're with Agape Projects. What exactly is that? Tell us about yourself.
So agape is a word with a double meaning, but one of the meanings is love in action. And it's something that I bore out of my past. I've lived a pretty crazy life, and I survived some things that I probably shouldn't have survived. And when I finally got on my feet and changed my life, I started searching for purpose. And I have a passion for God and a passion for giving back. And so I don't really have one particular area of focus that I'm interested in helping with. I want to help with everything, whether it be children in need, senior citizens in need, saving the earth, saving animals. So we started Agape Projects, and we have different projects in various realms. As far as I do 2 mission trips a year, one to Haiti and one to Honduras. I do Christmas gifts for children in need. We help senior citizens in low-income housing. I work with addicts, work with the homeless, all different avenues. Wherever we can get in, we help.
Now, Danny, for our viewers that aren't familiar with you, I'm very familiar with your story. So if you can just give us a brief synopsis, because you have really exceeded the odds.
I grew up in Harford County in Bel Air, and I took the wrong path. I wanted to be a drug dealer when I grew up, and so I started dealing drugs and using drugs at an early age, and I quickly became a convict, homeless, in and out of treatment centers, hospitals, overdoses, lived on the streets of Baltimore for years, in and out of prisons and jails, and then finally, in 2001, I managed to get my life back together, and I got clean, and I've been drug and alcohol free ever since. Now I'm a multiple business owner, as well as, working with the nonprofit.
Why did you feel like Sleep in Heavenly Peace was a good fit for you?
When I came across Sleep in Heavenly Peace, first off, they're local, right? And being from Harford County, I want to do as much local stuff as I can. We've done a lot of mission trips, and we've done a lot of stuff in other states. But they are direct hands-on in the trenches, helping people in need here in Harford County. And that's something that I really wanted to get involved with. And I met with Karen, who's the leader of Sleep in Heavenly Peace here, and the whole vibe was awesome, the mission work that they do, and it's just something that I was drawn to.
Well, tell me more about your experience working with them, because I know you've put in quite a bit of time.
Yeah, so I've been with them a couple times on bed deliveries, and I brought some friends with me to help out, and we rent and take U-Haul trucks out to the various areas in need, low-income housing, and bring the beds and assemble them there on the spot for the children. And the feeling and the excitement of bringing these beds into these people's houses is amazing. A lot of people, when they donate, they think about clothes and food and small things. But beds, obviously, is something that people need, and it's a missing element that people usually can't afford to or have the means to facilitate for these people. And so I thought it was amazing. We had great experiences.
Well, do you have any that, maybe you could share with us about maybe the first time you took a bed into somebody's house and the kids saw it for the first time? And
Well, I'll tell you, I've owned a bail bonds company. So I've done a lot of work in that business with people in low-income housing, as well as I own a nonprofit. So we fed a lot of people in poverty-stricken areas, and I bought Christmas gifts for some of these. And when we came out to the houses, it was like a reuniting with a lot of these children. They recognized me from doing other projects, and the excitement, them running and jumping up and down on their beds, and them seeing the new the new quilts or the blankets that were given to them that just matched what they loved. It was an amazing feeling. I mean, they were so excited, and the parents are so grateful. It's amazing.
Danny, thank you again so much for all that you do. We are so proud, and I know I've said this a million times, but you make Harford County proud. You really do. So thank you once again.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And coming up next, we're going to talk to some of the recipients of this bed and see how Sleep in Heavenly Peace has made an impact on their lives. Stay with us.
Maryland residents and visitors now have the option to text 911 if they are unable to place a phone call.
To send a text, enter 911 in the to line.
In your message, include the location of your emergency and the type of help needed.
Si el servicio de enviar mensajes de texto al 911 no está disponible o no es ofrecido en su área, usted recibirá un mensaje diciéndole que contacte al 911 por teléfono o por TTY.
911. Call if you can, text if you can.
Jennifer Butler is one of the bed recipients, and she's here to tell us about how she found out about Sleep in Heavenly Peace and how they made a difference for both her and her family. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello.
Jennifer, how did you first find out about Sleep in Heavenly Peace? How did you become involved?
So in 2017, someone suggested that we contact them. My family was going through a very difficult time, and we needed some resources, so we decided to call.
Now, can you tell me a little bit about your story? Your kids are adorable.
Thank
They're
you.
here. I see them, and they seem very, very happy, so obviously this was a good thing.
Yes.
But can you tell us a little bit about your story and what really compelled you to reach out and take advantage of the wonderful services that they provide?
So, of course, financial difficulties, which led to us having to get rid of our furniture, and we had to move. And so, with relocating, furniture was an issue in the very beginning. So, it was definitely God sent.
I want to know about the experience, yours and your kids. What was it like when the beds first arrived? I imagine a lot of excitement there.
There was definitely a lot of excitement in the room, and to see the crew come in with all of the bedding and all of that stuff, it was definitely some excitement there. It just was overjoyed to not be able to sleep with me.
Oh, got to be on their own.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, yes.
Now, the staff here is wonderful, and I know that you've had a wonderful experience. So tell me a little bit about your interactions with them.
So they've been great. I've known them for like 3 years or so, and they were very nice, went above and beyond to make my kids feel safe and happy, and it was just great to work with them.
Now that they've helped you out and you're doing so well, you're back on your feet, after you have received, services and help from Sleep in Heavenly Peace, have you continued the relationship with them? Do people usually do that?
So I have actually kept in contact. My husband is actually a local pastor, and so we have rallied other community members and church members to help send financial contributions to Sleep in Heavenly Peace.
So this is something that you definitely recommend, and it's made a difference in your life, hasn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely. People be surprised at the difference it makes when you can get a good night's sleep in a place of safety in your own bed. It just makes the world of difference.
Now, Jennifer, I can see your kids here. They're absolutely adorable, and they seem very excited. So tell me a little bit about the kids that you have.
Yes, so I have a 13-year-old, I have a 7-year-old, I have a 9-year-old, and I have an 18-month-old.
Oh, wow. Okay, so these bunk beds were really necessary for you.
Yes, and the great thing about the beds were that, they can be twin beds or they can be bunk beds, which is definitely a space saver when you have children.
Absolutely, and it's a lot of fun, too.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Jennifer, and thank you for sharing your story, because your story is one of those stories that make people want to give back and want to get involved. So we still have more to come. Coming up next, we're going to meet a father-daughter duo, the longest-running volunteers that Sleep in Heavenly Peace has ever had. Find out why they stay involved. I'm here with Brenna and Andrew Johnson. They are the longest running volunteers here for Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And let me tell you, if you have an organization, this father-daughter team, this is the team you want helping you out. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
Now, tell me how you guys first found out about Sleep in Heavenly Peace, and why did you decide to become volunteers?
I saw Karen put an ad on Facebook and that they were going to do a build in a few days, and Brenna and I decided to come and join on that Saturday and build beds with her, and that was the first time we came.
Well, Brenna, I want to learn a little bit more about you, because someone your age that is so giving, and I know you must be busy with school and sports. Tell me why do you do this?
So I'm also we live in York County, and I'm a part of the 4-H program, and a big part of 4-H is always giving back. And so I've done many different hours. I've spent hours at senior centers playing games when no one else would. I've done petting zoos, and this was the thing that really stuck, because it fit to my, needs of having to be hands-on and actually building something and then going and delivering everything, which I really like. I like the kids. I like that kind of stuff.
Now, Andrew, being one of the longest running volunteers, how many beds would you say that you've built over time?
A lot.
Yeah, we've probably built over 400 beds. Wow. There's some piled here behind us, getting ready to go out. We love to build. We work together. Usually Brenna and I end up at the end of the assembly line putting the headboards and the footboards together, and
first one's here, last one's out.
Do a little quality control, and then I decided one day to go with Karen to deliver, and I was hooked. So we haven't missed a delivery yet.
A build day sounds like it can be a kind of long process. There's a lot involved. So can you walk me through exactly what a build day would be like?
We have, sorry, would you like to answer?
Oh, of course I would. So our assembly line starts with the sanders. We have many sanders. That's where you usually start off if it's your first day. And then the boards all go sanded, so it's nice and smooth. We don't want splinters, that kind of thing. And then it goes to our tap stations that make marks for where to drill in so that we can have the holes. And then once we have that, it comes to assembly where we put it all together with our impact drivers and screwdrivers, and then we stain them, and we're good.
Now, beds are heavy, obviously, and there's a lot of them. So transportation, that can't be easy. How do you get the beds to the families?
Well, actually, when they're finished assembling here, you have a headboard, a footboard, and 2 matching side rails. And we take them to the houses. We usually just, if we don't have a U-Haul or a truck that we could borrow, then we just fill our vehicles with bed parts and mattresses. And once we get there, we carry the parts up to the bedroom and assemble them on site.
Wow, I mean, that's a big job. It sounds very time consuming, but I imagine you get to meet a lot of families along the way.
We do.
Okay, Brenna, tell me about some of the families you've met.
My favorite families are the ones that don't expect it. We'll go to a house and they'll be like, yeah, our neighbors are supposed to get the beds, but they're not here. And we're like, well, we don't want to have extra beds. So they always know someone, and we take them to that somebody's house and they're like, yeah, I just moved in here. I don't have anything. I would appreciate your beds. And we're like, of course you can have them. So it's really nice to give it to someone that deserves it and didn't think about it or didn't know, because we're small, and it's great to expand like that.
And what about you, Andrew?
Yeah, it's the surprise deliveries. I can't tell you how many times we've shown up to deliver and they've moved suddenly or they're not home and we don't want to bring the beds back home, and the neighbors are looking out the window or the door, and you walk over and you say, they say, what are you doing? And you say, well, we're delivering bunk beds, but they're not there. And they're like, oh, we could use some kids' beds, and we're like, okay, show me what you have, and we'll help them clear the room, the bedroom or whatever, and then we go ahead and assemble the beds there, and then we catch up with the other family the next time.
Oh my gosh, well, not only are you guys huge supporters, but let's talk about these t-shirts. Andrew, love yours. Brenna, you need to explain what Bunks Across America is.
So Bunks Across America is SHP's holiday. We have a day, it's once a year, where all of the chapters across America build on the same day, and we see how many beds we can build on one day. That's usually our biggest year. We get t-shirts because we're special, and everyone shows up for Bunks Across America. And we usually go live on Facebook to show what we're doing, and you can log into other chapters and see what they're doing, and it's kind of like a mini competition. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, all of the chapters build on that same day.
Andrew and Brenna, thank you so much for being here. Not only are you guys so valuable to this organization, but you're so much fun, and you're exactly what people want to see a father and daughter relationship turn out. I mean, what a great experience.
Thank you. Thanks for having us. Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully I'll see you on a build.
Maybe.
Yes, that would be great.
So much more to come. Stay with us. As you've seen today, so many people have come together to make sure that any child that doesn't have a bed now does. That's their goal. That's what they're working to accomplish right here in Harford County, and you can be part of it by donating, volunteering, or just getting involved. So if you want to learn more about them and how you can help this wonderful organization, you can visit Sleep in Heavenly Peace Harford County Chapter on Facebook. I'm Christy Breslin. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.